What do you think of all the different manosphere channels and the similarities and differences between their messages?
I think all the channels is it's kind of saturated. It's like it's a little too much. Need to be a little bit of balance to it.
I don't know if cash grabbers is the right term, because not everyone's exactly cashing out from it, but there's definitely a lot of people that want to attach themselves to a movement and then shout as loud as they can.
And instead of pushing that message on men, you need to let men figure out what they want to do for themselves.
What and who are they actually advocating for?
For men's rights.
They're advocating for men for sure, and some of the stuff they say is right, but they're advocating in the wrong way. They're pushing it in the wrong way. They're stealing money from these men who don't know, who have low self-esteem, who think less of themselves, and they have these people follow them and they take their money. They do make very good points about the women, and because high quality men, low quality women, bitches do be saying like, oh, she runs the world, and then cry when somebody wants to fuck them and not be with them. Bitch, you done fucked everybody already.
What's the difference between advocating for men versus blaming men?
Advocating is sticking up in a brotherhood type of fashion, I'd say. Sticking up for men is almost as if men need to be stuck up for because we're at a disadvantage, which I don't think no one needs to be stuck up for. It's just unite as one.
If Red Pill creators can't see men as victims, how can they be advocates for men?
I don't think they care about the people that they're pushing the message to at all.
Why is shaming women seen as hate, while shaming men is seen as motivation?
My answer would be that is to better men and keep women in their place, actually.
How many manosphere creators can you think of that don't lean traditional?
I believe there's more and more that are emerging, but not many off the top. The ones off the top are pretty old-fashioned, if you could say.
I don't think they want traditional marriage. I just think they just want to have fun with many as women that they can.
If modern women were all virgins who cooked and cleaned, would you still get married under the current laws?
No, because marriage is one big scam, man. Because because once the laws and once the courts and once the judicial system gets involved, it's all about money at that point. So no, I definitely wouldn't.
I would not get married under the current laws, either way, because the current laws put men at a disadvantage, and that is the biggest blessing I think Red Pill's given me without question, is exposing the marriage laws.
So then why are they more focused on body count than changing the laws?
Superficiality and not getting to the root cause.
Is the biggest goal of the Red Pill to address the divorce problem or the incel problem?
The divorce problem, honestly, because a lot of the divorces are initiated by women, and they're not even there. And a lot of it has to do with women getting bored in relationships and marriages faster. So I think the divorce would definitely be the target in that.
There's an attempt to make it look like it is to solve the divorce problem. However, it has starkly turned into a raging overreaction to address the incel problem that has been caused by massive waves of feminism.
Why is it when women complain, reforms are made, but when men complain, we're told to improve?
I think because the nature of reality does cater to women. Women are catered to. That's why you see less homeless women on the street. You've heard probably a lot of people say that. But women are catered to. Men are just expected to go out, get it, figure that shit out for yourself.
Aim high to, quote unquote, get the bag, to get the short-term relationship that isn't going to last.
If so many men today are broke and out of shape, why are they advocating for Bugattis?
Because we think the material is what adds value to our life, when really that's the top of the pyramid, when really our foundation should be at the bottom, which is getting in shape and getting dialed in mentally and spiritually.
And a lot of people, especially people my age, unfortunately, they got a lot of participation medals growing up, and so people want the gold trophy just for showing up and doing quote-unquote their best.
Everybody gets a trophy wife.
Everybody gets a trophy wife. Nobody wants to actually do the work, though. Everybody wants to get that ribbon, and the ribbon is the Bugatti and the 10 model wife or whatever that is to you, but nobody wants to eat healthy, work out, work hard, save your money, maybe invest, start a business, fail a business. You never know if you never try, but too many people want to just do the bare minimum, exist, and then get all the dopamine in the world.
Why would Myron write a book called Why Women Deserve Less while sculpting men on how to provide women more?
Because Myron is selling you his product. Myron is selling you his podcast. He's selling you his videos. He's selling his books. He's a salesman. Men, all these are is the new self-help book for men. And it's not even that good.
His book definitely has some truth in it, because a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, that as men that you're supposed to have women respect you, and that's pretty much what the main thing of his book is about, you know, as a man.
If Myron admits women live life on easy mode, why is he proposing that we place more burdens upon men?
I couldn't tell you why he says that, but I would guess it's because he knows that the traditional role of a man is to bear the brunt of a burden. However, traditionally, that's for one woman, your wife.
Not all women live on easy mode. Because they live on easy mode, they wouldn't be out here trying to get the top tier dude.
We see it today. Somebody can start an OF and simply put pictures of themselves up in a bikini and in 6 months quit their job. It is easy, and it's always going to be easy. And the only way that's ever going to change is if men stop doing what you're doing. Just stop caring about these women that do that. Just stop it.
Do you find it hypocritical how everyone from Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, Brian from whatever, have all profited from and promoted the incel problem of OnlyFans girls while claiming to be men's advocates?
It's definitely problematic in a lot of ways. You shouldn't be selling the cure if you're also the cause of the disease.
These red pill people are selling you a dream that you can be this big macho man and be the head honcho on campus or on whatever you are doing in life. They're trying to sell you that, like, you could be this big macho man that doesn't have to buy OnlyFans material, doesn't have to buy OnlyFans products. But guess what? They're talking to the same people, to the same incels.
What's the difference between a tradcon, a red pillar, a MGTOW, and a men's rights advocate?
There are a lot of differences. I think it all comes down to branding.
MGTOW means men's going their own way, meaning men have found their own value and and going through so much pain and hurt through their life. It's about their time for them to be alone for themselves. And then men advocates, definitely, it's definitely in the same regard. They all mean the same thing, you know, as far as like a man just going his own way.
Why does the manosphere lump all these people together just because they're anti-feminist?
That's a good one. That's a tough one, man. Honestly, they group us together. They group us together because we're such a small niche in the manosphere community, men who feel like this. So they have to put us together, but it's right though. You know what I mean? Because that means our voice is more powerful than what they think.
Just because you're anti-feminist, does that necessarily mean that you're pro-men?
No.
Instead of just bringing on OnlyFans girls, why isn't there ever a debate between all of these ideologies?
Because people are scared to have their ideas genuinely challenged.
How can there be all these supposed men's advocates that don't get along with each other?
The nature of the ego, especially a male ego, is competitive. So I'd say just the male ego generally being competitive.
Why are feminists more in sync with each other than men are?
Because the nature of women, I would say, is to get along and to solve problems by talking about them in a community like fashion.
Because feminine, all they have is is to group together and try to make some kind of Me Too type of movement to try to make seem like they're equal to men.
Are men less capable of unification, and aren't these guys proof of that?
They are.
It's kind of like a catch-22. It's like you got one half saying, you know, bros over hoes and all that, but at the same time, these are the same dudes that are clowning dudes that's not on the same level as them. So, and those are the dudes that's actually watching these videos. Like I said before in the beginning, they don't care about the people that they're selling these courses to or giving this advice to. They're just numbers and views to them.
Should Fresh and Fit, Pearl, Andrew Tate, and whatever podcast represent the whole manosphere just because they're popular?
Definitely not. No, because just because they have a popular voice, they shouldn't represent the whole man. Because what their experience is doesn't determine what somebody else who's going through somewhat it's not their experience either.
All men are different. No men are the same. All men have different values and different traditions and different religions and raised in different countries. Some men had fathers in the home. Some men had women in the home. So you can't put us all in the same category.
Why was there no mention of a high-value man during the men's rights discussions of the past?
I think probably because men weren't generally seen as inherently low value for the longest time. Nowadays, men are typically regarded as low value. Nobody wants an average man, quote unquote.
Back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, a high-value man was a normal, average, everyday man that went to work and protected the people he cared about and gave them what he could.
Well, in other words, why is the average man never given a seat at the table when they are the ones most affected by all of this?
Because the majority of the people, the majority of the content creators that are in place, that are on the top, they're gatekeeping.
Should Fresh and Fit, Pearl, Andrew Tate, and whatever podcast represent the whole manosphere just because they're popular?
Absolutely not. They all have their own brand and their own ego.
Does being popular mean that you have a good message?
No. Hitler was very popular.
Does being popular mean that you have a good message?
No, not at all. You can be popular and be dumb as hell. You see it on social media every day. The dumbest things get the most views.
Why has the Red Pill movement replaced most of the published veteran authors and intellectuals for a bunch of entertainers and shock jocks?
That's what's hot nowadays in society. People have, you've probably heard it called TikTok brain. It's far more entertaining to watch clips online than it is to pick up a book and read, or actually go to a conference and hear somebody that's probably smarter than you, that read more than you, that has been around longer than you speak and maybe could give you some insight.
We don't want to get into the nuance. We want the sound bites and the sound clips because they're selling us stuff. And the 15, 30-second sound bites and sound clips get your attention, get your clicks, get that money from the CPM and the ad revenue.
Why does Brian, who's anti-marriage, continue bringing on tradcons to promote marriage while never challenging them about changing laws?
That's a pretty damn good point. I've actually never seen him question that. Maybe he should start doing that if he really wants change.
I think that at the end of the day, a lot of us aren't actually anti-marriage. I think that marriage has become corrupted in this society, particularly by the laws and the government.
Why are we still expecting men to be traditional when women no longer want to be traditional?
That's a good question, man. Damn, that's a good question. Because that is what they're pushing. That is what they're pushing. That is a good question. I'm going to say something. I'm just collecting my thoughts right now. Yeah, why are we pushing men to be traditional when women ain't traditional? Because women will straight let you know they're not traditional because they don't cook clean, they don't do none of that. All they care about is the bag and designer, and so I think it should stop, to be honest with you.
Why does Brian complain about all the things men have to do on a first date, but then say chivalry is dead? What part of the dating process isn't chivalry?
Shoot. Well, I know his stance. I think I've heard that he's not the type of guy to provide to pay for the first date. I know that for sure. Not the guy to get married and all that. But yeah, that's a good point, actually.
It's called hoflation, right?
Yeah.
You ever know what hoflation means, right?
Yeah.
Men have to work 10 times as hard to get women 20 times worse, right?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, why is the solution always for men to improve, but never for women to lower the standards and accept more average men like they did in the past?
So you said, so why is this being pushed at for men to improve?
Yeah, how is that not just feeding into hoflation? You're basically placing more burdens on men, expecting men to step their game up to appease women with superficial values.
Oh, you're right about that. You're right about that, because
I mean, is that not, it's feeding into the problem?
I see what you're saying now, because just because you're a high value man, that doesn't mean that the solution is going to be fixed, because it's a perpetual cycle.
If becoming high value was the end all be all, why have so many high level men been destroyed by the legal system?
You're right about that, because they take everything, man. You know what? You're right. So what's the point of even being high value? And the woman that you're gonna end up with, they're not with you for you. They're with you because you're high value. And so once you do marry him or you do give them that proper role as your wife, stuff like that, that's their meal ticket. They dipping off to the next one. And number one, not all high value men are attractive to begin with. So in all hindsight, their money is their personality. Because a lot of these dudes are socially awkward when they're in front of women. When they're in front of women by themselves, they're socially awkward. So their money is the personality.
I mean, aren't you really just making yourself a bigger target?
You making yourself a fat ass target. Excuse me for cussing, but yeah. So if I was a high value man right now, I'll be a target. I'll be a target. So I'm gonna stay where I'm at. I'm gonna stay right where I'm at, because I don't need the trouble.